Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. So if you wouldn't mind hitting like, subscribe and press that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We've got a lot to discuss today. Bitcoin's been doing some crazy price action within the last 24 hours. Pretty bullish news came out yesterday, but was it bullish after all? But the price of Bitcoin pumped anyway at the end of the day. Let's take a look at what's been going on in the last 24 hours because it's been a little bit crazy. First of all, Bitcoin is down 1.17% to $51,116. Ethereum is down even further, down 2% to $2,938. In terms of altcoins, we are seeing a bit of red in the markets right now. Biggest gainers of the day, we're looking at Filecoin up 9%, HBAR and Flow up almost 5%. In terms of biggest losers, Huobi there again. Huobi's token HT down over 10%, Helium, Convex and Basic down as well. So we are seeing some fluctuations in the markets right now, but Bitcoin is still at this crucial level. We have not yet seen a significant breakout of the zones that we've been discussing here on the channel. In fact, right now, since we've started this stream, we've started to see a bounce. Fingers crossed it continues in this direction. Let's take a look at what's going on in the chat first of all today. We have Monkey Nuts in the chat this morning. Thank you very much for tuning in every single day. We do appreciate it. Good morning, Rob. Let's see what's going on in the news today. Hopefully it's good stuff. Greg says hello, Rob as well, and Kiwi and Jason Smith all the way from Australia. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, we do really appreciate it, and we've got some really good information coming in today's stream. So make sure to stay tuned, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. If you haven't yet got your hands on a Crypto Saving Expert mug, make sure to head over to the CSE merch store. Let's take a look at what's going on first of all with Bitcoin. Now, let's take a look at this chart first of all. This is the 4-hour chart. You can see we've got some levels of support and resistance here. Right now, we are seeing potentially a bounce from this level of support at $50,900. If this continues, that is brilliant. That is exactly what we want to see. If we see a break to the downside here, then we may be looking at a break to that lower level that we've been looking at on the daily chart that we will check out in just a second. So right now, we're looking at this level of support here, and we have a level of resistance at around $52,000 for the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. Now, if we zoom out slightly, you can see that we have some higher levels of support and resistance on the daily chart as well. So Rob says it's the Jess effect on the price of Bitcoin going up. It really is. If we're live and you like the stream enough, Bitcoin will pump to the upside. It's a scientific fact. Let's take a look at what's going on here on the daily chart. You can see if we zoom right out here that these two yellow lines were used very much so as a level of support and resistance in the previous bull market. If we pull back here, you can see how significant these zones were, and that's the $50,500 level and the $53,000 level. Now, if we take a look at what's been happening this time around, you can see we've been bouncing off that level of support and bouncing off that level of resistance within the last couple of weeks, and we are within that range. So we have not yet managed to break above it, but we are trying our best to do so, and that is a positive thing to see here. Every time we've come back down to this level of support, we've seen a huge amount of buying power pushing the price back up again, and similarly, every time we've gone up to that level of resistance at 53k, we've seen some selling pressure pushing us back down again. So we're stuck in this range right now. But I don't think this is going to last forever. I really don't think this is going to last forever. If we take a look at what's going on in the 4-hour chart here, we have made attempts at both the level of support and resistance, and we have not managed to break through either of them. But we are in a shorter time frame in a chart pattern here on the 4-hour chart. And what we can see is we are in a descending wedge right now. So if this level of support breaks and we get a confirmation bounce, I'd say it's more likely that we are going to break this level of support. Similarly, if this level of resistance breaks and we get a confirmation bounce, we're showing strength in the markets there again and showing that maybe we could have another attack at that $53,000. So what we're doing right now is we're at a really strange print in the markets because Bitcoin's had this extreme rally. We are only 60 days away from the Bitcoin halving, and yet Bitcoin's moved up to the upside significantly already. Now, that wasn't exactly what was on everyone's bingo cards for this month. I think a lot of us, for me, I've been saying $50,000 is the maximum pre-halving since Bitcoin was down at about $20,000. Even if it's just $53,000, it's not a bad estimation to have made. So I'm pretty happy with that estimation. Going much higher than that pre-halving would be surprising and would break trends, but I think it's very much possible with these Bitcoin ETFs. We have seen a massive rally to the upside right now. Bitcoin does historically take 20 to 30% pullbacks in a bull market, so that is possible. But it's also possible that we just continue to the upside. It really, really is right now. And it's not clear which direction Bitcoin is going to go in, because it has been behaving so bullish within the last couple of months, more bullish than we've seen previously pre-halving. So we're definitely seeing some nice bullish movement here, but we need to be taking a close look at the charts right now, because that is going to help us determine which way Bitcoin is going to go next. It's sat on the fence right now and it's about to fall, but we do not know which way it's going to fall. So we need to stay tuned on that. And I think looking at these smaller time frames is helpful to see here on the 4-hour chart. We are creating chart patterns here that we need to be keeping an eye on, see which one of the levels of support are going to break first, and that will help us build an idea of what's happening on the bigger time frames and help us determine which one of those major levels of support and resistance at $53,000 and $50,500 will break first. And once we know that, once one of those levels break, then we can be more confident with the direction Bitcoin's going to take pre-halving. Jason Smith says in the chat, I don't want to be the pessimist here, but I think there is a retrace on the cards before a big pump. I definitely believe that this is 100% possible. A lot of people are saying, look, Bitcoin ETFs are here, we're not seeing pullbacks anymore. I don't think that's a reasonable view to have. Every asset has a pullback. We can't expect it to go up in straight lines. And we have seen a 22% pullback since Bitcoin ETFs have launched. So that has kind of already been discredited, that point of view. But we could say, look, these ETFs are buying up at such a rate right now that we may not see as big of a pullback as we anticipated pre-halving. That is a possibility. I really do believe we are on the fence right now, and we need to be looking closely at the charts. Bitcoin's had a really nice run to the upside, and we are having some sort of cool-off period. That bullish momentum has come to a little bit of a halt. We are seeing sideways action here, and we may just continue to see the sideways action here as well. We've been saying that on the channel here as well for a while. There is a possibility that Bitcoin's had that bullish momentum. Bitcoin ETFs are having the continuous inflows, so that's holding the price of Bitcoin up, but we don't have enough to push it further, so we're just looking at sideways action / maybe a little bit of bearish momentum here. I think that definitely is a possible scenario to be watching out for. So as I'm saying, if we keep an eye on the supports, keep an eye on the resistances, maybe look at the opportunity of trading within the range until we see a breakout, because we could be in this range for a while. There's lots of opportunities here in the market. I'm personally waiting for a breakout, but there have been some brilliant swing trade opportunities within the last couple of weeks as well. So there are definitely opportunities everywhere to make money right now, but we just need to be careful and just be on the right side of caution here, because Bitcoin has had this massive leg up, but the longer this sideways action goes on for, the less pessimistic I get. Because when we were on that massive rally to the upside, I was thinking, look, we need a pullback. We've got 60 days till the halving. We need this 20-30% pullback. But now we're seeing this sideways action. We're showing the strength of Bitcoin. We're showing the strength of those supports. And we're seeing continuous buying power around that $50,500 level. So if this continues and we just continue to see sideways action, we could see the fear and greed index start to neutralize slightly. All of those bearish indicators start to neutralize slightly before the next leg up. That is definitely a possibility here. So just looking at all the scenarios, I think just keeping an eye on the charts is super important right now. Bitcoin's making huge opportunities for us all right now, and we do want to take advantage of that. Before we continue on with today's stream, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday. I feel like I look like a bit of a ghost on today's stream. I think I've got too many lights in here right now. It's a bright day today in the UK. It's not rainy. It's nice and blue sky, which is nice for a change. Let me know where you are in the chat, and let me know in the chat, what level do you think will break first, $50,500 or $53,000? Both very key levels and both holding very strong right now. So it's pretty hard to say at this point in time, but we need to just be keeping an eye on it. And as I said, sideways action within this range isn't something that I'm necessarily against. We're building strong levels of support here. Jason Smith says, on that note, what is the Fear and Greed Index doing? Let's take a look at that right now. Fear and Greed Index is at 76 right now. So if we take a look at what's been going on, do you know what? In fact, this one's all fancy and jazzy, but do you know what? I like the original Fear and Greed Index chart, the alternative.me one, because they've got this nice chart underneath it. You can see that yesterday we were at 74, we are now at 76. That greed has increased slightly, probably off that slight bullish momentum that we gained yesterday. Let's take a look at what's going on here, because Bitcoin had a little bit of a rally yesterday and everyone was a little bit confused why. So we saw this massive just shift to the upside very, very quickly all of a sudden, and I believe that it was off the back of the news about Reddit. So let's talk about this quickly, and then we'll go back to Bitcoin at the end of today's stream and take a look at what's going on with Ethereum as well. Rob says, I'm listening on my market stall in Winchester, tagged Interpret Crypto on Twitter with a pic this morning. I'll take a look at that. I'll take a look at that today and see what's going on. Can you tag me? I haven't got any tag tweets. If you tag me again, I'll be able to see it. Sorry. My Twitter notifications have got busy because Jordan's just tweeted something about and tagged me in it. So then my Twitter notifications all get pushed to the downside. Let's see what's going on in this news article here and see what's happening. So Reddit acquires Bitcoin and Ethereum. The social network company has purchased the two assets. So let's take a look at this. Let's actually first of all talk about Reddit and the history they've had with cryptocurrency and blockchain, because a lot of you know that I am actually a big fan of some of the work Reddit have done for cryptocurrency and for blockchain. So I am a big advocate for finding new ways to get people from Web 2 to Web 3. And there is a massive problem that we have right now in the market where we are so focused on making profits, making utility, that we are forgetting that we need to drive users into these projects. A lot of the projects right now are brilliant and they really could help wider audiences, but we do not have effort and teams in place to push people from Web 2 to Web 3 a lot of the time. We tend to put ourselves in this kind of bubble in cryptocurrency, and there's a lot of people in cryptocurrency that although we all want adoption of cryptocurrency, it's not uncommon to be in a cryptocurrency Twitter or group community and see people kind of turning their nose up at newbies and being like, just kind of dismissing the idea of educating new people about the space, and we kind of put ourselves in a corner and don't like letting other people in sometimes from time to time. And I do think that is a massive problem. We need to be educating people about cryptocurrency. We need to be bringing more people into the cryptocurrency space and teaching people about utility so that we can drive the industry forwards. We can't just be a little bit snobby about it and be like, oh, you earn in Bitcoin in 2020, so you're not allowed to enter this group anymore. We need to bring new people in. We need to drive adoption. And there are some big companies that have helped us do that, with Reddit being one of them. So Reddit actually launched a collection of digital items. I believe this was in 2021, I would say. And they basically just launched these digital images and collectibles that you could purchase online, just like you would any other payment, just by like Apple Pay, card payments, I imagine kind of all the traditional stuff. And then it actually turned out that the digital collectibles that it had launched were NFTs. So the people that had purchased these digital collectibles, when they chose to sell them, they had to actually go to an NFT marketplace and learn how to interact with the blockchain. And that is a brilliant way to bring people into the cryptocurrency space. You're bringing people in and teaching them, forcing them to learn a little bit more about the industry, how blockchain works, how simple it is to make transactions, and driving the adoption. So I was 100% on board with that idea from Reddit, and that really helps. It's just really nice to see a big company like this take steps towards Web3 and introducing people to Web3. So in the past, Reddit, great track record in my opinion with trying to push this. They've already tried to make tokens for different communities in Reddit. Didn't really go to plan in that way, but we've seen them interacting with blockchain over and over again over the years and paying an interest to the industry and the potential that it has when it comes to social networks. So we are seeing them dabble in and out with the cryptocurrency space, and I do believe that is better than other social media companies that just pretend it doesn't exist. I think having some kind of intertwine between the Web 2 social medias and the Web 3 space is really helpful for the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. On that note, the reason why a lot of people are bullish on gaming tokens isn't because they're all huge gamers. It's because gaming can massively bring people from Web 2 to Web 3 as well. So huge opportunities here, and Reddit have been in my good books for a while off the back of that collectibles thing they did. But let's take a look at what they're doing now, because they've bought Bitcoin and Ethereum. This news did pump the cryptocurrency markets ever so slightly for a short period of time. And then we kind of retraced back down again. So let's take a look at what's going on. Let me check what's going on with today's stream. How many viewers have we got on today's stream? We have got 18 likes and 18 people watching today's stream today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button. It helps the stream grow so much. It helps the channel more than you can imagine, and it will help us on our way to get to 10,000 subscribers, which is the goal by the end of the year. And the goal by the end of the month is 4,000. I think we can do that. We're on 3,956 subscribers right now, so let's try and hit 4,000 subscribers. I would very much appreciate it if you could hit that like button as well. Let's take a look at what's going on with this article right now. So Reddit have announced that the company has purchased Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so what's happened in February? Let's discuss this quickly. Reddit declares its Bitcoin and Ethereum holdings in its S1 registration form with the SEC filed on the 22nd of February. The company is applying to go public via an IPO, and we have applied to list our Class A common stock on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol RDDT. Due to the criteria a company must meet to go public, it has to declare assets held. So they've said, actually, look, we do hold Bitcoin, we do hold Ethereum. Despite Reddit recording 76 million daily users in December, it remains an unprofitable business. So let's take a look at this. The company revealed that it lost $90.8 million last year, even though it did see a 21% revenue growth. So huge figures for losses here. Even though they are improving, they're still deep into the red. So as per the filing, Reddit claims it did not attempt to put money making at the forefront of the business model until 2018. And now what they're trying to do is get in profit, essentially, launch an IPO, invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and onboard that mission to the moon. And that's what Reddit are trying to do right now. Whether this will be successful or not, it's interesting. I mean, they're printing losses every single year. We don't know how much Bitcoin and Ethereum they have chosen to purchase here, but they're trading, like buying lots of assets. Hopefully this can bring them afloat. Interesting article. I think a lot of people were bullish on this until a lot of people realized actually they don't have a lot of money to spare. I don't know if we have the figures on how much Bitcoin and Ethereum they have actually bought. That would be really helpful to know. If anybody knows in the chat, please let me know. Let's see what else is going on in the crypto news. In fact, let's take a look at this, because I think we need to be talking about this as well. Maybe we should have done this before that article, but here we are. What we've got is the Bitcoin liquidation heat map right now. So this shows when traders are getting liquidated in the markets. If Bitcoin does sink down to $50,500 right now, we could see a lot of traders getting liquidated. The same applies for $52,200. Now, so we have basically a magnet above and below us on the Bitcoin chart. We had this exact same scenario earlier this week, and that played out perfectly in the way that we hit both of those levels. So if that were to play out again, I would probably expect a wick to the downside to that $50,500 level, and then a move to the upside to that $52,200 level. All traders are wrecked, and that's what Bitcoin likes to do. Bitcoin takes the path of most pain, so seeing these liquidation levels here only makes me feel bullish. Maybe we are in for a quick wick to the downside, but I don't think if Bitcoin is trading at 51,184, I don't expect it's going to let these traders get away with it, even if it is Joe move to the downside. I think some liquidations are in store, so be prepared for that. We do also need to note, though, that it is Friday. On the weekend, price action is a lot less volatile. So maybe we will see these traders be able to hang on for the weekend. Maybe we will just be in for some sideways action here. And that's actually a really important note for this chart here, thing to note for this chart here. On the 4-hour chart, we are in this descending wedge. If it is, it is Friday. If we've got that kind of slow weekend ahead of us, we could just see us continue within these price ranges. So this is between $50,900 and $52,000. So definitely just to make sure to be aware of that. Obviously, if some news comes out, we can just have a volatile move in either direction, so we're not certainly going to stay in that range, but with weekend price action being a lot less volatile, volumes being a lot lower, maybe we could expect to just stay in this range for the time being. Let's take a look at what else is going on here though. So we've got 60 days, 5 hours, 39 minutes and 5 seconds until the Bitcoin halving, when Bitcoin's inflation rate is cut in half from 6.25 to 3.125, and we all get to see that supply crunch get closer and closer. Let's take a look at what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news today. We've had some discussions here about Ethereum ETFs causing a bubble. So obviously, we've seen spot Bitcoin ETFs going live, and now we're seeing maybe Ethereum ETFs could come in May. So the final deadline by which the SEC needs to decide, yes, these Ethereum ETFs can go live, or no, they cannot, is in May. So we will get a decision then in either direction. We are seeing analysts saying, look, there's probably a 50% chance these products will get accepted. So we've not got our hopes too high, but fingers crossed these ETFs do go live. I mean, if an Ethereum ETF goes live, we could see a load more altcoins having ETFs towards the end of the year, and it could be super bullish for the cryptocurrency space. As I was saying in yesterday's stream, if the Ethereum ETFs don't go live, we need a huge amount of inflows for the altcoin space to keep up with the Bitcoin price, with all of the inflows into these Bitcoin ETFs. So really interesting concepts here. I hope that the Ethereum ETFs get accepted. It could be absolutely amazing. Let's take a look through this article and see what they have to say. So Ethereum ETFs may increase institutional investment and power the world's most used blockchain, but is unlikely to create euphoric price surges, more market observers opined. Interest in Ether bet soared significantly after the approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs. We all saw that. As soon as Bitcoin ETFs got accepted, we were all expecting Bitcoin to pump, and suddenly Ethereum was flying, and Bitcoin was just kind of twiddling along like nothing had happened. It was a crazy price action there. So last week, Ethereum's native token crossed the $3,000 mark for the first time since April 22, rising 15% in a week and beating Bitcoin's relatively modest 8% rally in the same period. Crypto circles on social application Twitter expect such price action to continue after the expected issuance of Ether ETFs later this year. The narrative is that these inflows could later find their way to the broader Ethereum ecosystem. Some believe ETFs could create sustained rather than explosive growth in the Ether markets. So Jack Kunis, head of derivatives at Bitfinex, has said, look, Ethereum ETFs won't cause bubbles. This isn't going to be a launch, a huge growth, and then a burst. This is going to be sustained growth over a period of time, according to this, according to the head of derivatives at Bitfinex. Despite concerns, institutional investment through an ETF could stabilize the Ethereum market, as seen with Bitcoin and gold ETFs, fostering sustainable growth. Ethereum Layer 2 solutions enhance scalability by enabling faster, cheaper transactions outside the main blockchain, fostering growth. Unlike Bitcoin's security focus, Ethereum's Layer 2 solutions prioritize rapid expansion, potentially attracting institutional investment and broadening application scope. However, an Ether ETF still faces the regulatory headwinds, so they've not yet been accepted to go live. 50% chance of an Ethereum ETF by May, according to analysts. But there is a huge amount of potential here. Ethereum and the projects on Ethereum could see a huge amount of inflows if these Ethereum ETFs go live. We've seen it with Bitcoin. We could see it with Ethereum. We could see it with Ethereum-based products. It could be absolutely insane what's going on here. Definitely worth keeping an eye on and keeping May in our calendars for something big in crypto. I imagine right now, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen in May. I think with Bitcoin, it was kind of, we were like at a 90% chance these ETFs were going to get accepted. So we were all pretty positive about what was coming. But with these, there's a little bit more uncertainty in the markets with this 50-50 chance of them going live. So I think the reaction in the markets will be different this time. If an Ethereum ETF gets accepted, we could see more bullish momentum than when we did with the Bitcoin ETFs, because there's more uncertainty going into that decision, unless we get some more positive news coming out that changes the certainty of the outcome there. But we'll have to stay tuned on that, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday, and I would appreciate it if you tune in with me every single day. We go through the latest cryptocurrency news and we take a look at the markets so that you all know exactly what is happening. I'm going to drop the link for our tweet in the live chat right now. I would appreciate it if you could all retweet this tweet, like this tweet, engage with the tweet as much as possible. That will help as much as possible. Bina says in the chat, Bitcoin down or up, it doesn't matter to me. I just buy every week, Satoshi by Satoshi. There is no second best. Do you know what? I completely agree with this. Let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin right now, and let's talk through this, because Bitcoin is at a point where we're seeing so many people say this time is different, this time is different, this time is different. I mean, if this time is different, I'd love it. I'd love Bitcoin to go to $1 million per coin. I would absolutely love it. But we need to be playing this the best way that we possibly can. There's three scenarios. There's always three scenarios when it comes to the markets. The supports break and we move to the downside. We get a dip and we get a buying opportunity. Or the resistance break, we move to the upside. Those that got in on board have managed to make some nice profits. And the third scenario is we see some more sideways action until it makes a decision. Now, we are pre-halving. There is potential that we see a pre-halving dip. We have seen those over and over a couple of times in history. If we take a look at BTC USD, if we take a look at this chart, and we go to the Bitcoin halvings 1 week, and we can see here, look, that we do tend to see dumps pre-halving. First halving, for example, in the couple of months running up to it, we did see a dump from, let's zoom in a little bit better here. So we're probably in this stage here right now in terms of timings. We saw a dump of around 30% prior to the first halving. If we go to the second halving, in the weeks prior, we saw a, let's get that right, 30% dump. And then obviously in 2020, we saw a mega dump from around $10,000 to $4,000, 63% there. I would say that was a black swan event and that was an outlier. So right now what we are looking at is those, if we were to go off the cycles that didn't have that black swan event, it is common to see a 20-30% pullback in the weeks running up to a Bitcoin halving. So we do need to keep that in mind, and we need to be aware. Look, this is what's going to happen if the cycles repeat. I always kind of go by the thesis that the cycles are going to repeat. But in this scenario right now, what we're seeing is if we go to BTC USDT, Bitcoin is at $50,000 pre-halving. Now, the potential for a 20-30% pullback, if we go to the 4-hour chart, we're probably looking at a maximum, if we're sticking in line with this 30% as the maximum, we're looking at a price target of $37,000. $37,000 as the bearish price target. Now, how likely is this? How likely is this at this point in time? I think right now we were looking at more, in history, to be fair, we were looking at more 20%, but $37,000. Let's pull all these lines off today's stream and take a look at this in a lot more detail, because this is a really interesting concept to actually discuss. So right now what we're seeing is Bitcoin has had a high so far at $53,000. To break down to the downside and make a 30% loss, we're looking at $37,000. And to make a 20% drop, we are looking at, let's pull this up, at $42,000. Now, I think that one personally is much more likely out of both of these scenarios. But the thing that I'm pointing out here right now is, look, we're in this point where we are seeing sideways action. We're on the run up to the halving. If history is going to repeat itself, yes, this support is probably going to break and we're going to retest these lower levels. But we have these Bitcoin ETFs accumulating 10 times the amount of Bitcoin that's getting added into circulation every single day. And we are seeing a huge amount of investors flood into the space much earlier than they typically do in a cycle. So we're seeing this bullish momentum much faster, much earlier than we typically do. Usually this momentum only really comes after the halving. So what we're seeing right now is the potential that we don't get that 20% pull down. So what's the best thing to do in this scenario? Monkey Nut says the 4-year cycle will happen because it's human nature to take profit. It might be as big a bear market, but we will still have one. I do believe we will obviously at some point experience some downwards momentum, have a bear market of sorts. Let's take a look at what's going on here right now though, because I'm looking at this market and I'm thinking, do I invest more at these points or do I not? And my personal conclusion has been, when we get close to that $50,500 level, I'm just going to dollar cost average in a little bit, because we don't know if we are going to see this level of support break. If the price moves to the upside, I want to feel like I've taken advantage of some of these dips. So I'm just taking advantage of those $50,500 Bitcoin levels when we start to reach those points each time we have done. And if we move to the upside now, absolutely brilliant. If we go down to $20,000, then you bet I'm going to accumulate as much as I physically can. I'll selling everything that I own to my name. So that $42,000, $37,000 level, it is possible. Pre-halving, we have seen dumps of this size before, so we do definitely need to be prepared for that. But we need to wait until levels of support have broken before we are looking down at those levels. Rob says, longer the sideways action, the better. I'd rather a rally well into 2025 than going up too quickly and shock peak early. I completely agree. A peak early is kind of the worst case scenario here, because we'll all be deep in our buy the dip mentality at that point in time. It's going to be a really interesting cycle, this one. If it doesn't play out like the normal 4-year cycles do, we could be in trouble. The strategy goes out the window at that point. I don't like that. I like it to follow the plan. I've made the Bitcoin plan. I've made the investment plan. So Bitcoin needs to follow the script now. It needs to follow the rules. It's meant to do its 4-year cycles. It's not allowed to change. Let's take a look at this. Bina says, and that's the best time to buy more. 100%. If Bitcoin does have that 20% drop that it typically has pre-cycle, it would be a brilliant opportunity for us. We do not know if it's going to happen this time, obviously. We've got 60 days to go until that Bitcoin halving. It has happened in history, so I would say there is a likely scenario that it is going to happen again, but these supports are looking super strong right now. So as always, I'm just saying, keep an eye on the charts, keep up to date with these live streams. We're going to see what happens exactly as it happens and report to you guys. We've got levels of support here that are holding strong, but if we do see a break to the downside, then we need to report back and look at lower levels there. Maybe we are in for a 20% pullback. Maybe we are just in for sideways action, and maybe Bitcoin's just going to move to the moon, and we need to be prepared for all of these scenarios. I think this is what people don't mention. Not everybody knows, well, in fact, nobody knows what Bitcoin's going to do. The best thing we can do is prepare for every scenario. And at first, you may think we can't prepare for every single scenario because we either buy or sell. But there is the option to prepare for every single scenario. When building your portfolio, the most important thing to do is to make sure that you are not creating a portfolio that is going to make you super emotional if the markets go against you. What you want to do is make sure that you are going to be happy in every scenario. So if you dollar cost average in and the price of Bitcoin goes up, you're going to be happy. If you dollar cost average in and the price of Bitcoin goes down, you're going to be able to dollar cost average down, pull your average buying price down. So you're going to be happy. And if the price of Bitcoin moves sideways, then you've got more time to dollar cost average in at the current rate. Dollar cost averaging in is proven to be one of the best methods to get into cryptocurrency. It takes some patience. It's not very easy to do so. I know what it's like. It's so much easier to just buy in all at once when you've got the cash to do so. But dollar cost averaging in has proven to be a good strategy. It makes you a lot less emotional when it comes to the markets. So definitely what it's worth doing is doing some research on what the best trading strategies are and picking what works for you. Because if you're buying different cryptocurrencies that you do not believe in for the long term, if Bitcoin were to now move to the $37,000 level very, very quickly and drag a lot of the altcoins down with it, you're not going to have diamond hands. You're going to have paper hands. You're going to go, well, that altcoin was rubbish anyway. Let's sell that in that 50% loss. And you'll just have a portfolio that is just melting away. You need to be secure in your investments. You need to believe in them long term. You need to look at these tokens. Look at your altcoins, do lots of research, dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out, make sure to take profits along the way and build a strong plan when it comes to your cryptocurrency portfolio. Don't just go into this blindly, because there is a huge opportunity to make money in this industry, but it's very, very hard to keep hold of that money. As a lot of people say in the cryptocurrency space, and I very much agree with this, learn from my own mistakes. It's easy to make money in crypto, and it is. Sometimes it sounds a little bit big-headed to say things like that, but it is. In a bull market, a lot of the top 100 cryptocurrencies do well. It's easy to make money at that point in time. The hardest part is to keep the money, to hold on to the money, to take profits, because everybody is always shouting that the price is going to go higher. So dollar cost averaging in, dollar cost averaging out is the best strategy to keep you mentally sane when you're trying to deal with your portfolio in these markets. It's so hard to take profit at any point in a cycle, but making sure you're DCAing in and out can give you the best kind of portfolio to move forwards with. If you're dollar cost averaging out and Bitcoin's going up, next time it has a dump, you can dollar cost average in, and you don't need to just dollar cost average like equal amounts every single week or every single day. You can do it more heavily when Bitcoin's down and do it more lightly when Bitcoin's up. I don't necessarily just set a buy order every single day. I wait until Bitcoin's at some nice prices and then I buy a little bit more. So as I just said, as we're getting to the lower parts of this range, I'm choosing to dollar cost average in slightly. Yes, there is possibility that we could break to the downside and see some bearish momentum here, but I'm also happy just dollar cost averaging in when we get to the lower ends of this range. Let's see what you say. Jay Mizzle says it's not what you make, it's what you keep. 100%. Unrealized gains in this market are not real. You cannot you have to just be so careful in this industry, because I mean, I've made this mistake before. I'm sure a lot of you have made this mistake before. In the last bull market, I had a figure in mind that I wanted to reach, and I got about 99% of the way there, and then Bitcoin crashed and my whole portfolio basically got liquidated. And in my mind, I was like, I have all of this money, I was spending all of this money, but really it was all in unrealized gains in the cryptocurrency space, and they all basically disappeared overnight. So we do just need to be careful when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. I know it can be so easy to feel like there's lots of money to be made here. There's so much FOMO in the space when the markets are going up, but we need to be cautious. We need to be making sure we are dollar cost averaging in, dollar cost averaging out, and taking profits along the way, because you never know what's going to happen in the cryptocurrency space. Let's move on from that little rant of the day though, and see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. We are on 3,958 subscribers. We are trying to get to 4,000 by the end of the month, so please help us with that goal and press the subscribe button, press the like button, and just interact with today's stream as much as possible. I have pulled down the amount of advertisements within the stream, so hopefully it's a lot better of a viewing experience today. But let me know in the chat if you have noticed the difference there, or if it's just the exact same, and then I'll see what else I can do about that. But let's take a look at what's going on here. 26 likes on today's stream with 29 people watching on YouTube right now. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's take a look at what else is going on here. So first of all, let's take a look at what's going on with the news. We're moving on to this. So Adam Back files previously unseen Satoshi Nakamoto emails in Craig Wright trial. So the messages may help refute Craig Wright's claim that he is Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous creator of Bitcoin. So as we all know, Satoshi Nakamoto is somebody that we don't know. It could be a group of people, could be an individual person, the creator of Bitcoin now. And that is the name that the creator goes by. Now, Adam Black has submitted his early correspondence with Satoshi Nakamoto to a UK court as part of his testimony in the Crypto Open Patent Alliance versus Craig Wright's trial on February 22nd. So Back is testifying against Wright, who claims to be the creator of Bitcoin and wants to assert a copyright claim on the Bitcoin white paper and associated materials. COPA noted that Wright's claim stops the development of Bitcoin and chills the silence developers. According to the group, this makes the outcome a matter of public interest and Bitcoin developer safety. Now, really interesting stuff this. I'm sure a lot of you have been down the rabbit hole when it comes to Craig Wright, with him being Satoshi, is he or isn't he? There's lots of YouTube videos there. You can go down a complete rabbit hole online when it comes to this theory. But let's take a look at these emails here, because there has been some correspondence with Satoshi Nakamoto back when Bitcoin was first being developed. So in one email, Nakamoto acknowledged Back's Bitcoin precursor Hashcash writing and getting ready to release a white paper that references your Hashcash white paper, and I wanted to make sure that I have the citation right. Nakamoto referred to what would eventually become Bitcoin as a version of eCash, a technology offered by David Chaum's DigiCash company until 1998. In another email, Back suggested that Nakamoto read about a proposal called B-Money by Wayday. Nakamoto notably told Black that he had not read the B-Money webpage, but said that he would credit the author in his paper. B-Money is cited in the final Bitcoin white paper. The development is noteworthy because Wright has previously claimed that he was inspired by B-Money when creating Bitcoin, but the email suggests that Nakamoto was unaware of it until a few weeks before Bitcoin was launched. So, two contradicting opinions here. One email says, we didn't know what this was, but now we are aware of it from Satoshi Nakamoto back in the day of Bitcoin's creations. And Craig Wright said, look, I actually made this the whole time. It was me. And actually, I got motivated and inspired by B-Money. So we're looking at this, and there is a contradicting statement there for sure. Now, according to Back, it was not an elaborate conversation, and we didn't get into a great deal of detail. He also said that he had never published the emails before. So during his testimony, Back highlighted contradictions that could support Copper's case against Wright based on his second witness statement. Back said that he does not believe B-Money influenced Nakamoto based on his emails. He also argued Wright's claim that he was dismissive of any attempt to create digital cash. Furthermore, Back denied Wright's assertion that Bitcoin relies on an algorithm rather than Hashcash, noting that his own Hashcash V0 predates the alternative algorithm. So Copper's case against Wright began on 5th of Feb, with the court case taking various turns since then. Wright has maintained his stance and denied Copper's allegations of forgery and plagiarism, while various Copper members and early Bitcoin contributors who interacted with Nakamoto have provided testimony that refutes his claim of creating Bitcoin. So let me know what you think in the chat now we've run through this. ZZ says experience is way better today. Thanks for sorting that. Brilliant. I'm glad that that's made a difference. Good morning, Jay Mizzle. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. 100%. What we're seeing here is obviously conversations with Satoshi Nakamoto, emails that we've never seen before. Let me know in the chat. Do you think Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto or not? I'll give you my opinions here. I don't think he is. I can't believe we're even at this point right now. But let me know in the chat what you think. A thumbs up for Satoshi Nakamoto. Not a thumbs up. What emoji is coming out? We want put an emoji in the chat if you think Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto, and put a a comment in the chat if you don't think it is. I don't know. I could have done that so much better. Just let me know in the chat. Do you think Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto? Let me know. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's take a look at what else is going on here. So Aave has launched lending protocol on BNB chain. So it's moved over to BNB, trying to widen its audience. What else have we got here? The crypto bull market should run for the next 18-24 months, according to Pantera Capital. Institutional investors are again turning to Bitcoin and crypto due to the approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs and a bullish stock market. 2024 has started positively for the crypto markets due to the US SEC approval of Bitcoin ETFs. Doge Tommy says, hell no, Craig's a clown. I don't think he is Satoshi, but let me know. It's an interesting debate. I'm sure after this stream, go just search on YouTube about Satoshi Nakamoto and Craig Wright. There's lots of videos that you can just watch and see the different points of views here. All a bit of a conspiracy theory, I think. What we've got here is analysts suggesting that the Bitcoin bull market could last for the next 18 or 12 months, probably going to be a strong bull market for cryptocurrency. I would absolutely love this to be the case. But I am cautious right now of the pre-bull market momentum that we have seen. Well, pre-typical cycle momentum that we have seen. We've seen bullish momentum way before the Bitcoin halving here. Obviously, pre-halving, we do usually see the start of the bull market. But there are some questions around whether the bull market is going to be shorter this time. And that's making me super cautious. Because my plan all along was Bitcoin's going to make a new all-time high post-halving. That was like, if Bitcoin makes a new all-time high by July, things fall into place for me. That means the 4-year cycles are going to repeat, and I was looking to take profit essentially across the entire of next year. So I was looking at taking profits like February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, with September 2025 aligning to be around the top if the 4-year cycles repeat. But as we're going on and we're seeing more momentum right now, it's making me feel a little bit wary. I've said this in the chat before. When we see like talks about a pre-halving all-time high, that petrifies me, because that's not the cycle. That's not what's on the script for Bitcoin. That's not what it's meant to do. So I am cautious that maybe potentially we do see a shorter bull run than expected. Although here we are seeing talks of a longer bull run than expected. Maybe we should all just conclude that this time is no different and it's all going to be the exact same. I think that's the conclusion I'm going to come to here. But who knows? I think maybe these articles and the momentum right now is pushing me to believe that I should maybe take some profits earlier than I originally planned. But that's never a bad thing at the end of the day. Let's see what's going on here. Alex Bell says my left foot is more Satoshi than Craig Wright. I mean, exactly. Good morning, Marin. Good morning, Alex. Thank you very much for tuning in, as always. Anders says Wright was challenged by Richard Hart to prove the identity by using a known Satoshi wallet. He failed. Exactly. Well, at the end of the day, if you want to prove that you're Satoshi Nakamoto, all you need to do is move some of Satoshi's funds. We all know who that is. Blockchains are transparent. We can see those transactions. All we need to do is say, okay, if you're Satoshi, make a payment, move something. But he can't. Rob says anyone so desperate for the fame and saying he created Bitcoin wouldn't have used a different name. What we're seeing now is, like, obviously the Satoshi Nakamoto story is a really interesting one, because we don't know who that is, and there are a lot of fears that if we do actually find out who this is, it could destroy kind of the attraction towards Bitcoin. There's been conversations about this for a while. Satoshi Nakamoto is a pseudonymous character. We don't know if it's one person, whether it's a group of people, and we don't know what would happen if we found out who that was, because that would massively affect the network, and I believe that's why they were private in the first place. But let's take a look at what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news here. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We've got some news to discuss here, and then I'll let you all go and enjoy your weekend. But first of all, Alex has been MIA for a few weeks, loving the new graphics, a lot less Holly. Brilliant. Glad to hear it. Let's see what's going on here. So Coinbase responds to the SEC's request for comment. The exchange has responded to the matter in question. On Wednesday, Coinbase's chief legal office, Paul Gruel, posted on Twitter revealing that the exchange had responded to the SEC. The request for comment was regarding Ethereum's status as a commodity or security. So Gruel stated, our letter lays out what anyone knows who's paid even the slightest bit of attention to the subject. ETH is not a security. In fact, before and after the merge, the SEC, the CFTC, the market have treated ETH not as a security, but as a commodity. So we're back onto this question. I think a lot of you that were watching the channel towards the middle of last year know that I'm very passionate about this problem in the US right now. So there's essentially the problem, because a problem in the US when it comes to regulation, because the regulators can't decide how to classify assets. Now, if an asset is a security, it's regulated by the SEC, and if it's a commodity, it's regulated by the CFTC. Now, I am definitely not against regulation. I think regulation is important. Regulators are put in place to protect investors. But what I am against is uncertainty around regulation and a lack of effort to reduce that uncertainty and create clear guidelines. So essentially, to determine whether an asset is a security or a commodity, we use the Howey test. And this was created in 1946, and it does not fit onto the cryptocurrency space, onto the digital space. So the Howey test is a list of 4 conditions for an asset, and if the asset meets all 4 conditions, they are a security. If they don't, if just one is missing, they are not a security and they're a commodity. Now, when you're putting this test on digital assets, it doesn't quite fit, and some of those terms can be subjective. So some people are saying, yep, Ethereum is a security, it passes the Howey test, and some people are saying, actually, no, it's a commodity, it doesn't pass the Howey test. Now, the problem there is it shouldn't be subjective. One person shouldn't be able to read the Howey test and read the guidelines and come to a different conclusion to the person next to them. That should not be the case. And this is why we need clearer guidelines in the US to determine whether assets are securities or not. And this will help the cryptocurrency space massively. Now, why does this even matter? Well, if the SEC are regulating an asset and an asset is deemed to be a security, then cryptocurrency exchanges need to be registered as a cryptocurrency, as a securities exchange. And all of these assets moved as securities have those regulations to abide by the SEC. What we really ideally want is these assets to be deemed as a commodity. Then it's regulated by the CFTC, and those regulations are a lot less strict. So we're waiting to see how we can clearly classify these assets and determine whether they are securities or commodities. We have had petitions for the SEC to clear up these guidelines. They have chosen not to do so. Gary Gensler, the chairman, has historically said the guidelines are already there. We don't need to make them clearer. And we've proven in court that that is not the case, because Gary Gensler and the SEC have had different conclusions from the Howey test than the courts have when it comes to the XRP lawsuit. So we've very much shown, look, there's a lack of clarity here when it comes to regulation in the US. We need some clarity here. We need some clearer guidelines. And we're seeing these conversations develop. We did see the SEC target many different cryptocurrency exchanges last year, saying they were operating as unregistered securities exchanges because they were offering securities without being listed and regulated by the SEC. But these companies are saying, well, we're not, because these tokens aren't securities. That subjective matter is causing lots and lots of complications here. And the SEC is basically just trying to bat down the cryptocurrency space. It's not been successful, obviously, but we're waiting to see. Is 2024 the year that we get more clarity on the regulation, or are we going to still have these rants a year from now? Who knows? Who knows at this point? But what we're seeing here is conversations about whether Ethereum is a security or not. There are a lot of questions around Ethereum. Bitcoin has been deemed a commodity by all parties involved, but when it comes to Ethereum, it's a little bit less clear, because Ethereum was actually launched through ICO, and that does typically categorize assets as a security. As I said, though, super unclear. We've had to basically do guesswork a lot in the past. Coinbase's cryptocurrency exchange has tried to get clearer guidelines from the SEC multiple times to help them determine which assets they can list and which assets they can't. Since they've not registered as a securities exchange, they don't want to be listing assets that are deemed as securities. But the SEC haven't been able to give them some guidelines to determine what are securities in the cryptocurrency space. So it's been a real struggle here for cryptocurrency exchanges, trying to cooperate with the regulators and not really getting much feedback. So they've had to just try and navigate them themselves and hope for the best. And now the SEC are going after them. So it's been a wild ride here. Let's take a look at this. The chief legal officer added that Ethereum should be considered the same as Bitcoin regarding the criteria involved for exchange-traded products. Gruhl added that Coinbase is committed to the growth and development of the industry via informed regulatory decisions. Coinbase has been at loggerheads with the SEC for some time, with the two parties having opposite beliefs. The SEC believes the rules and regulations are clear. In contrast, Coinbase and many others in the industry have persistently asked for crypto-specific guidelines and continue to fight for clear rulings. Now, my question is, how can Gary Gensler and the SEC say that the rules are clear when they have a different opinion to the courts? XRP, which is issued by Ripple, have been in a lawsuit with the SEC for a very long time now, well over 2 years. And what we're seeing is the courts deemed, that's about 6 months ago, the courts deemed XRP as not a security in 3 out of 4 instances. So there are 4 ways that XRP is used in payments. So I believe it was sale to retail investors through exchanges, like how me and you would buy XRP. Then there's XRP going to the staff at Ripple. Then there's XRP going to the CEO and other board members. And there was another way that XRP is transacted as well. I think from institution to institution. And the courts deemed that in 3 out of those 4 instances, XRP is not a security. Now, the SEC were going to court and challenging XRP and created this lawsuit because they believed XRP is a security. So when we're looking at this and we're saying, well, XRP, Ripple are saying it's not, the courts are saying it's not, but the SEC is saying it is a security, how can the SEC still stand by the idea that their regulation is clear and not subjective? if you're getting a different opinion to the court and to the company, there's some subjectiveness going on here. The guidelines clearly aren't clear enough, and we need to see some progression. So that's what's been going on. It's been very frustrating to sit by and watch. Coinbase have been trying to push forwards with it, and now obviously still making efforts to push the cryptocurrency space forwards and get some clear guidelines here. Who knows how long this is going to take? It's been going on for a while now. We've got 32 likes on today's stream. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We are currently on, let's see how many live subscribers we've got right now. We've got 3,959 subscribers. We are trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so we've only got a couple of days left. Please help us with that goal and like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Let's see what else is going on here. So on the next story of the day, we've got 273 million Matic moved to foundation address as circulating supply reaches 100%. So this means all Matic is now in circulation. Super bullish news. Really nice to see this. We like to see all Matic in circulation. We don't like to see inflation of any asset, essentially. So reaching 100% circulating supply means that there are no future token releases to increase sell pressure. Positive news here, and hopefully Matic can go on to have a nice future in this bull market. Let's see what else is going on here. WorldCoin up 170% weekly to all-time high following OpenAI Sora breakthrough. OpenAI have created their new text-to-video Sora. It's been absolutely insane. The videos look insane. We've seen some posted on Twitter already. It's not available for the public, but they have released some videos created through the AI, and now WorldCoin is pumping off the back of this, essentially because Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, is also founder of WorldCoin. So the connection there has created some pump for WorldCoin, the token, and for the entire AI sector in cryptocurrency. We've seen a lot of tokens moving to the upside significantly within the last couple of weeks. Let's take a look at what is going on here. How could a recession affect the crypto market? I wanted to drop this in at the end of today's stream because I want to leave you with this in today's live chat. I want you to all take a look at this article and take a look at what's possible for cryptocurrency within the next couple of years. We're seeing some uncertainty in the traditional markets. The UK has officially entered a recession. We're seeing more negative news across the world. So taking a look at this article can help you understand better what's possible here, because we have to remember Bitcoin came out of the previous the 2008 financial crisis. So it's not really been around for a significant financial event. So this is, we really could be about to see the first time Bitcoin being available as an alternative to the fiat currencies in a real time of need. So it'd be really interesting to see how that would play out, if these recessions, obviously, how we move forward with this, and how Bitcoin reacts to this can really be a telltale sign of what's next for Bitcoin and how big it can really get. Let's take a look at what's... Oh, I did not mean to do that. We're back. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on in the chat and take a look at the price of Bitcoin before we close off today's stream. Doge It Tommy says, the greatest inventor of our time is who? All-time high for Bitcoin is 69k and ETH is 4,200. 69 and 420 are numbers that this inventor enjoys. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Let's move on from that. Let's take a look at what's going on here on the daily chart. What we can see is right now we are seeing bullish momentum. We are within these price ranges, $53,000 to $50,500. On the 4-hour chart, we are in this descending wedge. We have just had a really nice bounce from the bottom of that level of support. That is at $50,900. Level of resistance is at $52,000. As I've said, it's Friday. We're in for some weekend price action, some slow volatility, low volumes. Unless some major news comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if we just stay within these ranges and continue with some sideways action for the rest of the weekend. So that's what we're really looking at there right now. Let's take a look at Ethereum and see what's going on here. Ethereum has actually broken through our level of support that we should be keeping an eye on there. So we'll see how that plays out there. If we go to the 1-hour chart, how significant is this? We have actually seen a break to the downside on Ethereum on the 1-hour chart there as well. So we'll see how that plays out. Right now we are in between these two levels here. We have a level of resistance at $2,970, a level of support at $2,893. I believe this is a strong level of support. if we take a look at what's going on for Ethereum Bitcoin, you can see that Bitcoin has been outperforming Ethereum within the last 24 hours. Overall, we've seen a massive pump on this chart. I do believe Ethereum has potential to continue to outperform Bitcoin on the run up to May with the anticipation of those Bitcoin ETFs. So we will see how this plays out. But right now, that Ethereum chart has shocked me a little bit. It made me a little bit more nervous for what's actually happening here. Sideways action could be in store over the weekend. Maybe we are in for that pre-halving pullback after all. But we'll have to, as I said, we're still sat on the fence. We cannot conclude from this price action right now. We're sat on the fence. We're going to have weekend price action, sideways action, probably, likely, and then we're going to have a breakout at some point in time. That's going to help us determine which way we are going to go here. But until we break through that $50,500 level or that $53,000 level, we're not sure. We're not certain for sure. So we have to sit tight and wait till then, and we will be reporting about that on these live streams every single weekday. So make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. That's all from me today. So thank you very much for watching, and I will be back here to see you all again on Monday. So make sure to tune in, like, subscribe, press the bell notification button. Thank you very much, and goodbye.